And welcome to the East County Sports Report. I'm Ramon Scott along with Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com. And Dave, spring has sprung. We're in March. We're moving outdoors to the Diamond. We've almost put away basketball, but just a couple of games left, including Cade's Foothills Christian Knights basketball team. But let's start talking about baseball and softball, Dave. We have senior Cade Cabral of the Foothills Christian Knights and sophomore Sophia Ramuno of the Helix Highlanders. And Dave, I told Sophia before you came on backstage that, she might be on this show all 4 years. The way we're going, she's making her second appearance. Dave, thanks for getting our guest tonight.
Absolutely. I think Sophia's going to be on. And some people may not appreciate it, but that's just the way the ball bounces. I wouldn't be surprised if she's on more than once per season. If you keep pitching like that, 15 strikeouts and coming in with the first inning like that and the wheels falling off already and being able to pull something off like that is something to be proud of, something that hasn't been done. You must have been going crazy. No, maybe you weren't even enjoying it as much as Coach Emery. He must have been just losing his mind. Like, he was probably like, wow, you just bailed us out of the worst possible moment that could have turned into something really out of hand.
The team was happy, but it wasn't just me pitching. It was the team hitting, doing good base running, the coaches not losing their heads when we weren't taking advantages of opportunities and errors being made. Kind of them being level-headed was really helpful. It was a team effort. It was important that we worked together because we weren't going to pull it out if we didn't.
Yeah, David. I was just saying, you're talking about the season opener, right, where Sophia had those 15 strikeouts in the win over Coronado, and the Highlanders started off 3-0 in the gold and silver tournament. They're going to have one more game. They're going to have travel out to play the Southwest Eagles, and I read where the Highlander softball team hasn't won in the desert in over 15 years, but what a game they had against Coronado. And boy, really a game-saving play, right, Sophia, in that game. Right at the end of the game, Audrey Cole made that she made a shoestring catch, right, and then threw home to Isabella Bourdin for the game-ending play at the plate.
Yeah. It was a good throw. Bella received it well. If those two things hadn't worked together, then the girl would have been safe and they would have scored. It was a perfect throw, and Bella played it well.
Now tell us, and then we'll get to Cade here in a minute. Speaking of some of the younger, you were one of the younger folks last year on the roster. Talk to me about the returners this year. And, you don't have to talk too long about it, but talk to me about how good the returners are. But more than that, about the young blood that's come up with the Highlanders recently.
Honestly, everyone has come to play. No one has lost any momentum in their stride since last year. I believe that the end of the season there last year, we were doing really well. Everyone was playing really well together. I feel like we're picking up right where we left off. All the seniors are looking great. The juniors are still playing well. Everyone's really collaborating well. And the people that are new to the team, whether it be younger or pulled up from JV, everyone's fitting together nicely. And I think we're all playing well together, no matter how old, how young.
Now, really, everybody really, and it's unfortunate for the softball team. Typically, it's Cole Holland and his Highlander baseball team. They've been phenomenal, fantastic, whatever adjective you want to use. They have been winning baseball games and championships for I don't know how many years, and I asked him just the other day. I said, "How do you stay looking so young when you've been here so long?" And and the guy doesn't age, and he says, he takes a deep breath. He tells his team he lives by the same rules with his team, and they all abide by exactly how he teaches. And so fortunately for him, he'll probably be in the game for another 10, 15 years. But just want to make sure you don't get overshadowed, because you know what? I think this Helix softball team, at least for another 2 or 3 years, is going to be, and maybe longer, it sounds to me, is going to be one of the solid contenders. And I don't want to knock on El Capital because they've always been so well. But I think that you guys might give them a little bit of competition when you come to play the Vaqueros. So something to look forward to. I'm sure you are as well. If you don't have any more comments on that, I'd like to move over to Big Cade and the Foothills Christian Knights. That boy, those 2 home runs have been being talked about for quite a while, and being able to see them is even more of a treat.
Yeah, gotta give props to Coach Wirtz for that one. He took really good video, so I was super thankful for that. But yeah, I was glad to get those 2 pitches, put a good swing on it, and help our team win that game.
Now, we lost. I don't want to say we lost. Quite a few of our talented players graduated, and that's going to happen anytime. And you're going to have to start off fresh. I talked to Dave Lewis a little bit earlier in the season, and he was explaining that it is, in fact, a younger team. But he had all the confidence in the world in all of you. I mean, from every position to the bench players, and that's saying a lot, because I've seen Dave. I've seen Dave. When things aren't going right, he makes sure that you know it. Yeah. And at the same time, that's a good thing, because you know what? He's only correcting you because he wants you to be a better ball player. And that's something that I think everybody on the Knights team can appreciate, is that Dave really does care about his ball players and the success that you guys achieve. And before Ramon, I'm sure he's got plenty too, but I just wanted to ask you, besides yourself in that particular game, would Kip be one of them that you'd like to put a shout out to too, and give some accolades? Kip was he pitching that day, I believe?
Yeah, Kip was pitching. He threw seven innings with only 1 earned run, and I think it was 9 Ks and no walks. So he was absolutely dealing, and we were struggling a little bit with their pitcher Orange Glen through their number 1, and he did pretty well against us. He kept us off balance, but yeah, Kip absolutely dealt that game. Really kept us in it. Gave us opportunity to go ahead.
Boy, that kid is really something else. He's been something else from 8. Now, am I correct that he started? Was he a freshman? Did he start as a freshman on the varsity? Yeah. That's what I thought, and he's been spectacular ever since. And let's not forget about some of the other players. Jack Wirtz, I think he gets lost in the shuffle sometimes, and boy, he can be one heck of a catcher. Not to mention, does he not come through in the clutch with some hits once in a while too, when you really need him?
Definitely, yeah. Jack's definitely a great hitter. He's supposed to have a lot of tough spots with some clutch doubles, and yeah, we look forward to a great season with a couple of the older guys, and it's definitely going to be a big thing for us to pull up the younger players, and just they need to kind of settle in, see some live varsity pitching. But I think we'll have a good solid season when everyone gets comfortable and we just mesh as a team a little more.
Well, you got that Pacific League. The Pacific League. You guys have been in the Pacific League now. Is it the 3rd year, I believe?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, not to take anything away from the talent that you have, but I think that it gives you the best opportunity to win. and the best opportunity to give you that league championship and go on to that third season that we call, well, in reference to CIF. So, Ramon, I mean, great Foothills Christian team. And real interesting thing, and maybe you can touch on that. We're playing at our home field is going to be over at Mount Miguel this year, as opposed to going way out there to Verona. So that's going to be probably fill in the stands a little more than we did in Verona.
Definitely, yeah. Mount Miguel's coach has been really nice to us, letting us use their field because Verona's under some maintenance right now, and yeah, I'm looking forward to Mount Miguel's field. It's a really nice field. Their team's really kind, and it's a blessing for us to be able to use that field.
Ramon,
Dave, yeah, do you guys hear me okay? I think my video might be frozen, but I'm not too worried about that if
That's
you can
okay.
hear me.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, great. Yeah. Cade, I just wanted to comment. I know you guys were talking about there, and I kind of missed some of it, but you had the 2 home runs in the win versus Orange Glen, and Kip Familaro had the win, a complete game, 9 strikeouts. Lost to Imperial in that season opener in 8 innings, 4-3. Good pitching from sophomore Seth Gilbody and also from junior Jake Baptista. But tell me about that season opener, losing to Imperial 4-3. That's a team that I believe, Dave, is that the team that you saw play Mount Miguel? And then the Knights and the Matadors got together again just a couple of days later in a crazy ball game. But first, tell me about that season opener, Cade.
Yeah, I mean, that was a tough loss. Imperial's a good team. I think they're at D2, so they're a couple of divisions higher than us. But I mean, we put up a good fight. We just we made a couple of errors, bonehead mental mistakes, and ended up costing us. But I mean, we showed heart and fight, and we're gonna get after it for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think now did you have the same type of issue with the Tigers? Because I know that Mount Miguel, they played them 2 days later or whatever it was, and shoot, they were down 5-0 pretty early, and a lot of walking going on. They had Tim Kelly or Eric Kelly rather, senior. They had him, typically not a pitcher, but I mean he's 6'4", 210 pounds. I mean, so he's built like a pitcher, and I got to see him do some BP, so he looked like he was ready to do it. But he's a great first baseman. But I mean, there's just a huge difference, and I hope that he progresses. And the whole idea behind Frank Coit is to pitch him as often as possible, and a couple of his others, Ortega, to get them in there and get to work, because obviously we can't have Thomas Ringer in there pitching 27 innings all the time, because as you know, I mean, he is a race, and he's a great player, but he even ended up playing catcher that day too. So it becomes a little harder on even your star players like that when you don't have a huge staff, if you will. But that says a lot. You did a great job against Imperial. Came up 1 point shy, and then that's why it was so strange. And then Mount Miguel beat you, but then they went and they played Imperial and came up a little bit shy. But here's the thing. How many times have you played Mount Miguel now? I mean, you guys are kind of getting to know each other really well. So, of course, the score, it's going to kind of shrink after a while, because you guys know what to expect, obviously.
Yeah, that one stung a little, but yeah, Ringer's a great pitcher. His off speed was definitely working against us that game. His curveball was really good, had a lot of snap to it, and we started off really strong, but like I said, we just got a lot of young players right now. Some of our some starters who will come back later in the season are going to help us a lot. But yeah, we just got some young guys. We all made some bonehead mistakes, and yeah, we'll we'll pull it together.
Any transfers that you have that are on the bench, and who are they, and when do we expect them to hit the field?
Yeah, so Caleb Leonard, we have a transfer from Christian. He was one of their better pitchers, and he's going to really help us. He'll probably hit in the top of our lineup, play outfield and third base for us. He's going to come in 30 days. I think it's a 30-day sit period for transfers. So he's going to help us a lot. And we also haven't had Max Merlin, who is our center fielder because of an ankle injury, and he's coming back tomorrow against Bishops.
Wow, so that's
Mm-hmm.
that's quite a bit
Yeah.
to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Lewis likes to give you guys more of the glory and let you guys get most of the quotes. Yeah, he wants you guys to get used to doing this as a regular basis. But every now and then, that's one thing he did want to touch on, is that those transfers should help you tremendously. Kind of get over the hump and really be one of those sneaky threat teams that people might take lightly. Mm-hmm. And they shouldn't do that, because you guys are going to be hammered away, whether it be defensively or offensively, or maybe a little bit of both.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I want to ask Cade real quick about the loss to Mount Miguel. It was 9-7. Cade, you guys had leads in that game of 5-0 and 7-5. Jake Baptiste had a pair of RBI. Kip had a pair of RBI, and you had a hit, an RBI, scored a couple of runs. But tell me how that lead slipped away. I noticed the team isn't quite up to the start offensively that you guys are used to, and I'm sure that's been a bit of focus after losing 2 of the first 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, that game, like I said, we had a lot of outfield mistakes, a lot of infield mistakes. I think everyone made a mistake that game. Honestly, we just didn't play clean baseball. But our hitting. I think we're just kind of getting in the season, warming up a little bit. I feel pretty good at the plate right now. Some of our older guys who are absolutely raking winter ball haven't been getting the results they wanted, but I think it will definitely turn.
And then back to Sophia. Where do you see? We kind of didn't get all the names out of you that we should really be on the lookout for. Besides, I know that Audrey was one of the Audrey Crawl. Is that correct?
Audrey Cool.
Yeah, that she was one of them. How about the rest of your pitching staff? I mean, you don't want to pitch every game. We don't want your arm falling off, obviously.
Well, they've got Zoe. They've got Zoe Culkin for sure. I mean, that's a great 1-2 punch, Sophia. You guys were dynamite last year. I also mentioned to you sophomore Lily White. You told me she was on the JV last year, and she threw a couple of nice innings so far in the tournament. So tell me about you and Zoe. Really big 1-2 punch, one of the best combos in the Grossmont Conference, and also the addition of Lily.
I'm really excited because I know each of us brings something different to the table in terms of pitches, velocity, off speed, what kind of pitches we throw. I'm really excited to be on this pitching staff because I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. And they're really sweet girls, and I feel like it's going to be a really good season.
And how is it for instance, and I think that's something that's overlooked, whether it be baseball or softball, is the attitude and the talking in the dugout. You know, when you have a quiet dugout, I think that does have a big effect. I don't know if both you and Cade agree with that, but if you're not talking and you're not encouraging your players, I think that does have a tremendous effect on if you're going to win or lose your game, especially if you're having a struggle, somebody's having a struggle at the plate, or, you got bases loaded, and there's 2 outs and say, Zoe's on the hill. You definitely want that dugout screaming. Same thing goes for you, Cade. You definitely, if Kip's up there, same situation. You want that dugout screaming pretty much. I didn't see a lot of that in the last few games that I was able to attend, and it was kind of frustrating. Because I'm so used to baseball and softball. You get the noise, and I think that is it's so important, especially if you're on defense, and you want to encourage your pitcher, and it's a close game. I mean, I don't know if you both agree, but I think that's huge, and it's something that players tend to forget. And I hear a lot of the coaches, Frank Coit being one of them, and Mount McGill is like, "What are you guys doing?" And I mean, let's talk it up. We gotta it's gotta get noisy in here. We gotta encourage our teammates. It's I think we've lost that in the last couple of years, and I mean, it takes your generation right now, both of you, just even yourselves. You can change that in a second. They see you as the leaders. They're definitely going to follow suit. I don't know. That may just be me, but I think it's a big deal, and I think that it really infuses more excitement in the team, more excitement on the field and the dugout, and it even passes the time. Instead of just climbing around in the dugout or I guess tying up your glove or whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's the little things like that. I think that really can win or lose a ball game. I think that really can have a big effect.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
Ramon, I can't tell if you're going to say something or not because is your audio off?
I think it froze again.
Usually he gets the
sisters.
There we go.
There you go.
All right.
There we go. And I think he was gonna ask something about some sisters. If how about that? Did either of you have any siblings that play that are at this level or play any sports, younger or older?
Want to go?
Sure. I have a younger sister who's 8 who plays most sports, but she's really good at softball.
And now how old is she, and how close is she to coming up, and maybe she's going to be able to be by your side?
She's 8, but she's a catcher. Yeah.
Now, do you work with her too? I mean, I know she's a little younger, and you're the big sister, and you definitely can't throw as hard as you really want to with the smaller sister like that. But do you work on the mechanics with her and such?
Yeah, I definitely try to work with her when she lets me.
Oh, when she lets you.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of that age where you got to keep them focused. Baseball, I think baseball and softball, they're special sports where, a lot of folks say, how can you sit there and watch 7 to 9 innings? And it does. I think it takes special people like ourselves to be able to enjoy the game and to, I think he'll be back on. He's just trying to get the audio straight. But don't you think that that's the case? It's, I guess you kind of got to grow up with it too. I don't know. Did you guys both grow up with dads and moms, or just dads that enjoyed baseball, in particular softball?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were always watching baseball going to games.
Me too.
Well, at least you didn't. I hope you didn't. I had my dad that covered East County sports for 47 years prior to my taking over. He was a big Dodgers fan, so that was very rough to have to hear that every year about the Padres being horrendous, which was many years, as we know. But we had 84, 98, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be soon for you guys, especially to see. It makes it a lot more fun to go out to the park. I mean, regardless if they win or lose, I mean, it is still nice. I mean, the atmosphere to go out to Petco, we got one of the best stadiums, I think, in Major League Baseball. I mean, that's my personal opinion, but I think we do. Now let's talk about, and I'll start with Sophia, your next opponent, and what are going to be some of the keys to defeating them and keeping them from putting runs up on the board, and who's going to be on the hill?
I'm supposedly starting on Wednesday's game. We're going to be playing in El Centro. I don't remember the name of the team.
The Southwest Eagles.
Southwest.
I'm back. Sorry, you guys. You guys are doing great. Keep going. The Southwest Eagles and Sophia. Tyler wrote in his story that, and I think it was just because he went back and tried to look it up, but Helix hasn't won a game out in the desert. Oh, are you not hearing me?
I can hear him.
Okay, great. Dave, sorry about that. Maybe I'll take you back in and out just real quick. But Sophia, Tyler wrote in his story that Helix hasn't gone out to the desert and won a game in over 15 years. Really? Was that mentioned to you guys by the coaching staff at all?
Yeah, Coach Darren chalked a 15 on the field today to remind us that we need to break the streak.
I'm going to go back and look at that 16-year because I know just on the Max Preps itself I couldn't find a victory, so I'm going to try to go back a little further because when we win that game, it's going to make for an interesting story.
I'm trying to read his lips.
Oh, Dave, I'm sorry, man. They can hear me. I'm going to take myself out and come back in just a moment. I'm going to ask a question real quick, though, of Cade. Cade, I don't know if you got a chance to see in the San Diego Union Tribune, they had the players to watch from the San Diego County. And, Foothills Christian has had a few players from baseball on that list, but I don't know if they've had two players on that list preseason heading into the season, but you and Kip on that list, both of you hit nearly 400 last season. So you guys make kind of a pretty good combo. Kip's handling some catching duties as well. And he's a pretty good pitcher. He had a pretty good outing in that game, right? He had the win in that victory against Orange Glen and pitched pretty well. But you guys had to be pretty proud to see that with you guys on that San Diego Union players to watch list.
Ramon, can I interject? And are we able to put those 2 home runs up that
maybe I might crash myself, but
I don't know what he's saying, but I'm hoping he's excited about doing that. Is he going to do it?
Dave, can you hear me now?
No, I can't. I was going to ask you, are we able to put those 2 home runs
I'm going to play them, and if I crash again, you just got to keep going and probably wrap up this show because I might not make it back on. But I want to try to show.
I've been doing the best I could. So.
You've been doing awesome. In fact, I've been watching you. You guys have been great. I'm killing the show. Fortunately, nobody cares about me, but I've been watching you guys. So I know you guys have been doing really well. But okay, I'm going to play them. If I crash, you got to keep going, Dave, even though I have more questions for these guys. But I think the home runs are too good to pass up. Let's try it.
See ya! That's a home run!
Well, that was one home run. Hopefully that worked out. I'm going to play the other one. Hold on, Dave.
Okay.
No way, that's two. Right now.
That's a happy Cabral right there.
Yeah, those were some shots, and it's affected my video quality. But I know you guys can hear me on that. And Cade, you know how YouTube just kind of grabs a screenshot and kind of throws it up as a thumbnail. And I thought, after those home runs, but your teammates.
I think I lost you.
Yeah.
What the good thing was too, Cade, I don't know who sent those to us. Was it your coach that sent it to us?
Could have been more happy.
Coach Wirtz.
That was.
Yeah, he's been taking videos of all my at bats, and I'm just super thankful for it.
Well, that's clutch because now that you're playing at Mount Miguel on home games, then we'll be able to do. I don't know if you've seen some of the ones like we've done for Mount Miguel, Monte Vista, so we can do something like that for you. Same thing for Sophia, but we have been asking the parents for 3 years to, hey, if it doesn't matter what kind of photo or videos, you take the videos, the photos of you guys, send them to us. We can edit them, we can embed them into the stories, and it only benefits you and your family, so that's why if you guys can even be the encouragement, we've tried. And so when we got that from Coach Wirtz, I was like, all of a sudden I was like, wow, somebody listened. I love it.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me on and playing the video. It's a super cool experience.
No, we love it. And that's the thing. Same thing, Sophia, if any angle that they can get to, it's just, you can do so much with these phones, even slow-mos, just to break it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Same thing. It's a little easier actually with baseball and softball than it is basketball. Basketball is, it's pretty tough to put those together. That takes some serious work. But the only thing else I can say from here, I already asked Sophia about her next game. How about yourself, Cade? Pretty big game coming up for you as well. Any thoughts? Any keys to the game? What's going on?
So we're gonna play Bishops tomorrow at Mount Miguel, and we're gonna have Kip Familaro pitching. I'm pretty sure. So hopefully he's dealing just like he was last game he pitched, and with him on the mound, we know we can win it. We just gotta string together a few hits and play some good D behind him.
And you're going to hit 2 more, right?
Yes, sir. I'll try.
Hey, don't just put it on Cade's shoulders, because I'll tell you what, I've seen Jack some of them out himself too. So he's very capable. Kip can be a clutch hitter when it is necessary as well. Tremendous athlete. And then, some of your youngsters, I'm just hoping that you get those youngsters, those transfers on with you more sooner than later. They would be very useful to have against Bishops, obviously. But you get to play on Mount McGill's field. So it should be really, if you ask me, advantage Knights.
Yeah, but we're also getting Max Merlin back tomorrow from his hurt ankle, so that's going to be a big help for us.
Dave, I fixed my problem. I turned off my green screen effect. I'm not out here at Mount Miguel anymore. My secrets are given away, but now my video's working. I got about 7 minutes to ask these guys some questions.
Go ahead.
Cade, the move from Verona Field out to Mount Miguel, and Coach Coit's done a real nice job with his field. He's kind of made it his passion to make Mount Miguel a nice field. It's probably closer in proximity for you guys, commute-wise too, right? Tell me the differences between playing those games out there at spacious Verona Field compared to out at Mount Miguel High School.
Yeah, Coach Coit was super generous letting us use his field. Super blessed for that. And, Yeah, Mount Miguel. I definitely like the field personally. It's closer to where I live, and definitely shorter fence in the outfield. And Verona's definitely a little ways out there, so I'm looking forward to Mount Miguel
A
having
little.
more fans maybe. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And Sophia, with this great start that the team has had, the 3-0 start in the Gold and Silver Classic, and you guys talked about while I was gone that game that you guys are going to go play out there at Southwest. I heard what you were saying. I was able to get all that with chalking up the number 15 and the number of years. I said I'm going to go back after you guys. Maybe you guys heard this. I'm just going to make sure that in case the viewers didn't, I'm going to go back and try to look beyond that 15-year span and try to find the last time Helix won a softball game out there at the desert. But I'm sure beyond that, the restructuring a little bit of these leagues, I mean, it's going to be a tough league race too, but all the way looking forward, way down the line, you guys certainly want to make amends for that first round playoff loss, right? A lot of goals for the team this season.
Definitely, for sure. All of us are pretty upset at how poorly we performed in CIF last year. None of us were really expecting to go out that early and perform as poorly as we did. And we've kind of been using that game as encouragement of what we're not going to do this year. But this year, we also have to take into consideration that we got moved up to a division. So the teams are going to be harder. There's going to be better pitching, better hitters, more competition than we were seeing in D3.
Yeah, and Dave, what I was trying to ask before Sophia, Dave my sound was going in and out, but I wanted to just know about some of the teammates on this team. He had thought I was asking about maybe some siblings or whatever, but I was asking about a couple of siblings on your team. They're siblings of one another, the John Alonis sisters, Corey, and she's the sophomore, right? Tell me about those players.
Well, Cameron is injured. Cameron will not be playing this season because she tore her ACL. Unfortunately, she will definitely be missed out there, but she has been helping the team. She's a team manager, so she's still there supporting us. Corey is still playing. Corey plays outfield, and she's also a catcher. And she's been her bat has been on fire this season.
And a couple of other players I noticed in Tyler's write-ups. Maybe you can comment on. How about junior JoJo Giles? What does she bring to the team?
Jolene brings a lot of energy, and she is hilarious, and she brings joy to the team. She's a great hitter. She's been doing wonderful at first base. We just got her back from water polo because our water polo team did really well, but she was on water polo. So now we have her full-time for softball.
Yeah, and Angel Riggins is a sophomore I've seen in a couple of the stories. Oh, no, she's a freshman, right? And I've seen her in a couple of stories so far. Tell me about Angel.
Angel's a really sweet girl. She brings a ton of energy. She's a fantastic player. She always works super hard. She plays outfield generally, but she can also play second base, and she's been hitting really well.
It seems to me who's not been hitting well for the Highlanders as far as the softball team. I mean, boy, you combine the baseball and the softball team. I mean, are you guys going to the same cages? Because it seems to me that you guys are all hitting the ball.
No, our team we work on a lot of hitting in practice and a lot of the fundamentals of hitting. Coach Darren definitely emphasizes the importance of hitting because our defense is mechanically pretty sound. I mean, we do work defense at practice, don't get me wrong, but we work on a lot of hitting stuff, making sure that we're staying consistent with our swings, not chasing bad pitches, and knowing how to read the ball when it comes out of the pitcher's hand is really important for us. Because certain pitches, if we're having an off day, will definitely be our downfall. But we've been working really hard on our hitting, so we get to the next level.
And I think that's. I mean, unless you have something else for Cade, Ramon. I mean, the Knights are in good position. I mean, it's early on the season for both of you, in reality. But after the way you both played in the last 2 weeks. That's why you were chosen to. I figured I'd give it a week because the first week, everybody's kind of just feeling their way out on the field, and then what Cade did on the field, and then I just remembered the 15th strike. I mean, I was beside myself thinking of that and the way you came in the first inning, facing quite a tall task. You guys were definitely great choices for athletes of the week.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the only thing I really had left for Cade, because I did get a few more questions in with him before I was having some problems. But just want to know, Cade, how that pitching staff is going to shape up for you guys with Kip. I would guess is going to be one of the top guys, and also Jake. But Seth already has thrown 9 innings. Are you surprised that Seth, the sophomore, has stepped up with so many innings so far? Are those the 3 arms at this point that's going to carry the pitching load?
I mean, Seth, last year for freshman year, he had some really good outings, and over the summer, he actually went on Coach Lewis's U.S. team and played with him, and he's improved a whole lot. His curveball is really good. He started to throw harder, and he's definitely going to be a big arm for us this season. We have Kip Familaro, obviously, who's one of our top pitchers, and Max Merlin is going to add a lot when he's back tomorrow. Then also Caleb Leonard, who was one of Christian's best pitchers last year. I think he had like a 1.8 ERA at Christian High School. He's going to be huge for us when he's able to play.
Yeah, and Dave, you mentioned about Mount Miguel and Foothills Christian kind of having that a little bit of a rivalry, I guess, is the way you were characterizing it. And I think both those teams are in Division IV. So along with teams like West Hills, Mar Vista, that's made a little bit of noise this past week with a couple of victories. So I think there's some interesting teams there and some interesting matchups down the line that we could see involving some of our teams. And I know Foothills Christian, they might be disappointed with that 1-2 start, and the bats not quite going the way they wanted them yet, but I know that they feel they're going to be extremely competitive in Division IV. So, all right, Dave, it's 10 o'clock. I want to wrap it up, but thank you for saving the show, Dave and Sophia and Cade. Sophia Ramuno, the Helix Highlanders, Cade Cabral, the Foothills Christian Knights, Dave Dickens of EastCountySports.com, and the Frozen Guy up in the corner, Ramon Scott of East County Sports. Great job, you guys. Good thing you guys are cool. Under pressure, as I struggled to keep the show on the air. But you guys saved it. Nobody cares about what I had to say. Great job, Dave, and good luck to you guys throughout the rest of the season. It looks like a big season on the way.
Appreciate it, guys and gals. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And for Sophia Ramuno, Cade Cabral, and Dave Dickens, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.